tonight's tactical enhancement is some more of the Macallan. Tonight we're playing Team Yankee. 90 points, the Bridgehead with the British in defence and the Ruskies on the attack. Nice little village, all terrain you would have seen before, all complete with a little playground and a market stall.
Yeah.
They didn't put any cars down, they must have all gotten out of town in time this time. On the Russian side, we've got a BMP-2 company with the platoon on the flank here. Shulkers for AA, but there's no enemy air, so that's fine. 3 T-80s, looking to go somewhere that way. The infantry platoon and the other infantry platoon. So we've got a push essentially into the village from two sides. Tosses. And that's the BMP-2s for that lot. And hails, heavy artillery. And that's the observer who can just about see past there into where the markers are, I hope. So we have the marker for the toss there, and the marker for the hail back there, which has really annoyed Emilio with his deployment. Now, I should note I also have 4 hind that are off table. Emilio's got marksmen in the centre, they'll serve him well. Infantry platoon, concealed, dug in, gone to ground, foxholes, etc. Infantry platoon, recce of some sort. Infantry platoon over there, more recce's, probably not strictly legal, but who cares. There's one of my objectives, and the other objective of mine is there. I'm trying to capture the American command vehicles. For whatever reason, those are in that location. Emilio has 1 reserve platoon, and it is 3 of the Challengers upgraded. They are beasts, beastly beasts, and they're going to turn up somewhere on that back line. I don't know where. Fortunately, neither does he just yet. And in this scenario, the Yanks get to attack. Sorry, the attackers get to attack without a dice roll. That'll be me. So I'll check in at the end of a risky turn 1. Turn 1 risky. We advanced. We put them up into the hard cover against that brick wall. Just a little bit of local produce. Those transports moved over there. We moved the T-80s to a position where they can present front armour to anything that comes on from Emilio. If they come on there, well, if they turn up, there's a 2 or 3 chance they come in from that angle. We moved these guys up and just shredded the brickwork on that building. And only managed to kill 1 stand. Then we fired some RPGs from the infantry who had moved up here into these buildings and did nothing. And these BMP-2s bailed these guys quite well. We didn't kill any. And the most important thing is our Mr. Observer over here rearranged in both artillery templates onto these poor boys. Smacked them twice. Ranged them both in on the first go actually. So that was pretty good. Killed what, 1 stand? Yeah. And they're very definitely pinned, and if they stay there, they're going to cop it very, very badly next turn. So we'll see what happens. They're probably going to move it if they can. And that's it. We're closing in on our objectives. Over to turn 2 for the British, and let's roll for your reserves first up. Let's see if those massive whompers of tanks.
Just 1 dice.
1 dice for this turn.
5 or 6.
That's right. No. Well, thank fuck, that'll help. Right, the British are counter-attacking where they can. They've moved their transports up here with some recce vehicles, fortunately 2 bogged. The problem for them is they're going to get shot at by a lot of stuff. They won't be there for very long, I hope. Assorted defensive fire came out of this building here with some Milans and some Gustavs. They took out a couple of light vehicles. I think they actually machine gunned some infantry over here. Lots of machine gun fire went into these infantry from that lot, but the bulletproof cover did its job. over here, these guys failed to unpin, so they left the Milan and they moved back. The Milan picked off one of my BMP2s. Actually, they probably were shooting at -1, but I didn't think of that.
And one barreled.
Yeah, one barreled. Now the problem I've got is he's doing another suicide charge over here with a bunch of machine gun toting light armored APCs, and I didn't realise that these are trucks. They're not armoured at all, so they're likely to die very shortly. That's rather unfortunate. Unless I do some very effective counter-attacking with these guys.
Which takes you away from the main fight.
Which takes me away from the main fight.
Yeah.
I'll have to think of what to do about that, but it's early days, so casualties have been light on both sides, but I think it's going to change fairly shortly. We'll check in at the end of the Russian half of turn 2. End of turn 2 for the Russians. We've had to redeploy some BMPs up here to try and deal with them. It does put us rather badly. Actually, I just realised I'm under the minimum range of those Milans. That's a lucky accident. We moved our infantry here just to pour fire onto these guys. We've got to crack this nut somehow, and I can't do that without killing a few more of them. We bailed another one with RPGs there. This lot poured a staggering amount of fire down this road into this building. Didn't kill very much. Over here, BMP2s took out one recce vehicle and bailed the others. We fired a whole lot of RPGs of various sorts, and to spread out to get a firing line to start lighting these guys up. But I'm just bailing things all over the place and not killing anything very much. Now these infantry moved up, but they're not keen to get into the building and take on this lot until the artillery's done a bit more work. I kept my tanks where they are, partly so one of them could rearrange in the Hurricane over there onto those guys, and partly so we could try and pick off the Milans with fire. We killed one Milan, but really they're there because Emilio's tank's going to turn up at any minute, and I don't want them getting flank shots till I know where the fuck they are. And that's it. An awful lot of dice, really not very many hits, and very few actual kills. Yeah, let's roll for those reserves.
Now it's 4, 5 or 6 now, isn't it?
No, 2 dice, needing 5.
Oh, that's better odds.
Yep.
Yes!
Now the reserves are on. Emilio's got his whole army on, and I still have to push the assault, and to be honest with you, I've just not killed enough just yet. British turn 2, and the challengers up armoured turned up. Unfortunately, Emilio got a lot of stuff back in, and a few Milans and other shots later, he took out 2 of my BMP2s on this flank. Machine gunned the hell out of this platoon. They're hurting a little bit.
And they're pinned.
Oh, they certainly are. Let's see, what else happened? He unpinned most of the infantry, apart from these guys who continued to fall back, which meant they didn't get any more shots, but sneaky Gustav fired out the back of this building, picked off one of these guys. Some of these chaps have bailed. Now the challengers managed to bail one of the T-80s, which is the best they could do, but we can't hurt it back. There's a real problem. We've got to figure out what to do about that. And what else happened? There were lots of bits of scrappy fire that were just taking things out. There's a shitload of machine guns in Emilio's list, all these little bloody pesky transports everywhere. Speaking of which, 2 of them got back in and cleaned up a couple of my artillery. Main reason this happened is because I thought these things were very lightly armoured, and actually they're not.
There's no armour, it's just a truck. With missiles in the back.
Won't make that mistake again. Yeah, lots of dice flew around, and yeah, look, he's chipping away. You can see this.
The barrage is important, Chris, because before you had 2 dice to zero in, and with those odds, you could actually do some damage. But now, with them gone...
Yeah, it's going to be very hard to actually do damage. I'm putting those back. I'll put some smoke on those charts for graphic effect. But yeah, it's
the other point is, I'm in defence, and if you just sit there and blow me away while I'm in defence, that's what it's the best tactic. But if you can't sit back and blow me away, you've got no choice but to come in.
Well, I've got to come in anyway because I've got to catch objectives, and if I'm not within 6 of the objectives on turn 6, I lose. So it's annoying because Emilio's got his whole army now. And it all came on reasonably good time. This is what happens if you massively load up your reserves with super heavy tanks. So I guess I'll just keep pushing the attack. Turn 3 for the Russians, and the choppers arrived. Wasted one in the flank. In the face we had a bale and a non-penetration, and I rolled a 2, so I didn't even bail that guy out. But killing one tank of that lot is a good start, and the good news is those marksmen, their range only comes back to here. They'd have to move well out of the forest in order to hit my choppers, and if they do that, I can kill them. So we'll see what Emilio does with his tanks, but the battle is still on. As for the rest, I threw a lot of dice and didn't kill very much again, which is a bit annoying. We did get a kill or 2 from... No, we got some... No, he saved it. Oh, God damn it. My last hurricane is still putting fire over here. We're not doing a lot. We did range in the tosser. Killed a couple. I rolled a lot of 6s there, actually. We bailed these guys repeatedly, but they just won't fuck off. And we put a lot of fire into this building. This platoon is actually looking a bit worn down. That was a big platoon at the start of the day. I've killed a few of them. We're not there yet, though. We haven't killed enough. It's only turn 3, so I would have a couple more turns of killing stuff, but it's getting a bit late. So we'll see how we go. We'll play out the British turn. And yeah, at the moment, I need to thin out the infantry just a little bit more before I can do the big push. And maybe deal with those tanks as well. If I manage to deal with those challenges, then my T-80s can join the big push. So it's on for young and old at this point. Right, now, turn 3 for the British. The infantry that weren't pinned moved to get out from under a template, although it's worth noting your machine guns the last artillery that was dropping that template. He did stacks on in this platoon with everything that could fire a machine gun. Most of his vehicles got back in, killed another one of these. The good news is the marksmen came out of the woods to play. Did not kill most of the choppers. They killed
one chopper.
One chopper. I gotta think about what to do about that. Because I've still got things to come out to play. He fired 4 rounds at these tanks here, hit them 4 times. From the challenges just rolled up a storm there.
Saved 4 times.
So they all bailed. Yeah, all bounced. A lot of fire flapped around all over the joint. Didn't kill my, well, he killed them obviously. That platoon's dead. Didn't kill any of these. Only bailed one of these. Didn't kill any of these.
Took 2 of those.
Yeah, I did take out 2 of these, which is significant. But even still, they're basically transports. Now the good news about this is I'm getting to a point where I'm starting to fuck up the infantry, and there's a whole lot of infantry in the open here, which I'm going to machine gun in a moment. And I'll bring my tanks out, maybe take a chance to see if I can kill this marksman before I light up his remaining tanks. It's all a bit touch and go. It could go either way at this point. So we'll do maybe, well, we'll see if we've got time to do turn 4. It's pumpkin o'clock here. And then we'll check in after that. End of turn 4 for the Ruskies. There's swings and roundabouts at this turn. We dumped Darty, didn't do a lot. We fired, we actually brought all these guys up. They're actually in the front of that building. Hosed these guys in the open, and he made all his saves. On the plus side...
You're now in the building, so...
That's right, so they can all shoot back. It's not really what I wanted. These guys managed to dig in somehow to protect them against them. Now the good news is these tanks, with a bit of help from their friends, lit up all the marksmen. That's great. So when I fired the choppers, we didn't have any return fire. We did, well, we only bailed one. That was unfortunate, but it's better than nothing. We dumped a lot of fire again into these guys, but didn't really kill very much. It's getting very frustrating. So they're going to basically fill up that building.
This turn is the last turn because we're running out of time, but the objective is Chris to attack, me to defend, me to hold these objectives for...
Yeah, if I'm not within, I don't know, what was it, 6 inches or something on turn 6, I got a problem.
I'm pretty stubborn right now.
Yeah.
I've got
I do have a bunch of tanks and infantry.
I've got two
to deal with this.
platoons there. So 3 platoons actually, but...
We should probably play out your turn and see if it swings it at all.
Yeah.
The first thing we've got to do, this will probably be the game decider, is see whether this guy gets back in his tank. 4+. He does. Damn it, so they don't have to roll, so they're still there. That means see if they run,
the game's over.
May as well be. Yeah, you'll be struggling. All right, well, we'll check in at the end of turn 4 for the Brits. End of British turn 4, and they've actually done nothing this turn. They haven't killed a damn thing. All of Emilio's infantry are pinned, none of them are unpinned, so they couldn't fire their Milans, so there's no fire against those things. Machine guns went and sprayed at these guys, did nothing, so they're dug in now. No, I actually took out BMP2 and barreled another one. Now it's worth noting in my last turn, I forgot to mention that I killed these fucking scimitars, or whatever the hell they are. Scorpions. You have no idea how much fire these bastards... There was no metal left by the time they finally died. I put so many fucking rounds through them, there's just none of them had finished off the vehicle. Well, I failed all my firepowers, but so the British infantry is pinned and it's seriously eroded, but it's still here. So we're going to call it because it's too late. Emilio barreled one T80. My theory of victory is move the T80s around because he's got nothing that can really stop him. Clean up those little things along the way and try and clean up his tanks with my choppers.
But could you take an objective in the next 2 turns? And I'm going to call it and say no.
I could be within objective capturing distance.
Because there's landmines here. So you'd have to go around them. And I've still got 2 platoons here and a 3rd platoon here. So these guys I'd bring up. These guys would hold.
It's on for young and old. Yeah. So I'm going to assume they're going to take out your tanks.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have probably at least 2 of my tanks left when that happens.
But then you'd run out of...
come around here.
But you run out of time.
And I'll be able to contest the objective. And I'll have 2 strong, almost complete platoons here. Plus some residual additional firepower and whatever happens with the choppers.
And this is why we're calling it a draw, because...
We would be playing for another 5 or 6 turns.
Yeah, but we've only got 2 turns to go.
No, the game lasts more than 6 turns. By turn 6, I have to be within 6 or 8 inches or something of the objective.
It's going to be tough.
So I'd be within range of the objective. That's easy. Forcing you off the damn thing is hard. That's going to take ages.
Yeah, because they'll basically just move these guys up.
Yeah, that's right.
So I've got a spare platoon, and that would be enough.
Yeah, so you've got 3 platoons. They're hurting, but they're still in the fight, and they will be for a long time yet.
And they'll dig in now.
Yep, so we'll be bashing heads for a long time. So we're going to call it as unresolved. It was interesting. I mean, you destroyed one of my platoons. I destroyed one of your platoons. We had various casualties exchanged elsewhere on the table. The
challenges are high value. They didn't give me a return for the buck, so I'm a bit disappointed. But then again, I was going for a high value target. And
not in kills. Here's the thing: if you'd had chieftains, you would have had more chieftains.
Probably maybe 2, 5 all up.
Might have had 5. What's that, an HQ and 2 platoons of 2. But you would have done as much damage. You would not have done a lot of damage to me. A little bit more here and there, but I would have been able to kill him.
Well, this was the danger. So the mistake I made in this game is they were not positioned well. I put them in the forest to protect them, but because of their range, it allowed you to come onto the table. So if I'd actually placed them here at the beginning of the game, you'd be forced to come out and try to take them out early.
Yeah.
Because then they would have been vulnerable targets, and the enemy has the ability to destroy my challenges.
Yeah.
So
but to be honest with you, the easy fix is to bring your challenges in further over
Yeah.
here.
So challenges further in. These guys probably could have stayed in the forest, and then
That's right.
I probably could have saved those tanks.
And I would have been trying to hit them with artillery. They probably wouldn't have done a very good job of it. Because it's more anti-infantry artillery. These
They only
tosses.
needed to go here, Chris.
That's right.
And that would have been, because then you would have gone your 20 inches, but to get your 20 inches, I would have got you on my 36.
That's right. And I wouldn't have done it.
No.
I would have tried some other strategy.
So you would have risked your choppers.
I would have kept my choppers in reserve for a lot longer.
Yeah. So that's the mistake I made, is I put them there. I should have put them in more central.
And look, it seems like an obvious mistake, but actually it's very easy to forget in the heat of the moment. And,
Well,
and we've not played in a long time.
I did it because I wanted targets.
Yeah, and look, fair enough. If you were parked over here, you would have had virtually nothing to shoot at.
Or anything that was through here. So
much.
a couple of targets.
Well, you had your own guys in the way, you wouldn't have even got that. Would have been very frustrating. And if you'd moved your AA anywhere else, then it would have been hit. We haven't actually played a game of Team Yankee in quite a while. It's nice to get back into it because I still love this game. But you know, we both made silly mistakes. I mean, I lost some of the guys here because I forgot that Milan couldn't shoot.
That
I
was a
forgot they
mistake.
don't have armour.
Yeah.
You know, I got very lucky when you did move your chieftains, so your marksmen out.
I outgunned
dice
you here
rolls
before
were woeful.
your choppers came.
Yeah.
And I actually outgunned you over here. And so your strength is in the centre. But the objective of the game wasn't to take the centre. The objective was to take these objectives, which are on my side.
I needed to take these buildings to get through, which look, could have happened with different dice rolls, but it's always going to be hard work. I mean, I did have a lot of guns pouring shit into there. But the other thing was to try and get around here, which needed the removal of your tanks for that to work. So those tanks being invulnerable actually was very useful to you, even though they didn't kill much.
Yeah.
It really stopped me from dominating the mobility in the game.
Yeah.
So, I think it's pumpkin o'clock, but this was a good bit of fun. It was a very scrappy game in terms of just picking armies on the fly very quickly. We didn't have a lot of time to think about what we were doing.
The British are very good at defence, and this objective of defending was ideal for them. You know, but you had a lot of firepower, you had a lot of flexibility, but you just couldn't shake me.
No, it was always going to be hard work to push you through the middle there, but I needed to erode your forces.
A lot faster than you did.
Well, yeah, look, maybe I needed to erode them either way, so that when the mobility came out again and we started to work around here, you would be trying to fight back in the open with platoons that were already hurting. If you had unmolested platoons, just there's no way I'd be able to beat all that. So anyway, well, that was a fun game. I should have said this already, but what have we learned? Anything?
I think, I'll repeat again, the British appear to be very good at defending. I haven't used them well in attack. I have used them, I think it's fair to say, I've used them well in defence.
Yep, you are an effective defensive player.
Yeah. Well, these guys, I think these were quite impressive, the Scorpions.
Oh, those, yeah. What are they? There's the Scorpion, or they're the Scorpion, they're the one with the one-shot weapon, or two of you sit still.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're sitting still with them, they actually do pump out quite a nasty round against light vehicles. It's that 2+5 power is horrid. Bit shit on the move, I have to say, but you know, they're sitting still.
But they've got a job to do, you know, and they're part of a team. You use them in combination.
Right. And they're cheap.
Yeah.
And look, they're cute. What can I say? Rule of cool.
And you're a little bit congested here.
Oh, look, I was, but really everything here was stacked up just to try and blast those fellas and erode them in that building. I really needed to erode them faster. It's always hard with trying to get infantry, especially British, out of buildings. But the fact is, when they had to move out of those buildings to defend the objective, there would have been less of them doing the job, and I would have been pursuing them.
Yeah, it was
great.
great.
With a lot of shots.
Great terrain. We had open areas, we had hill areas, we had built up a town. It was a good layout.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, it was fun. I did love the look of this game. Well, that was fun. Hopefully we'll do some more Team Yankee, and it won't be as big a wait since the last time we did Team Yankee. On that note, feel free to hit like, subscribe, send us a comment. You might be able to point out some of the silly things that we did. And time to call it a night.